Hey there, landscape designer. I'm Charlene Gray. Welcome to Landscape Elevation, where I talk about all things landscape design, geared toward those of you who are landscape design entrepreneurs. Whether you're just getting started in your side hustle or you've been in business for years, I hope the things I talk about resonate and are helpful to you on your journey as a landscape designer. So if you've ever designed a garden or landscape for someone, you probably know how usually clients have opinions when it comes to which plants to use on their property. So clients may have their own ideas about specific species they want to see used, but a typical client isn't aware of the entire scope of plants available that may, in addition to the plants they know they like, would actually work really well on their property. So ultimately, you want your clients to be pleased with the outcome of their landscape. So inviting them into the plant selection process during the planning phase helps them feel like they have a role, in the process. Now, not all clients claim to want to have this role. They may say they want you to decide 100%. But I've found, and this may not be true for you, until maybe the one time when it is, it's best to show clients at least a list of the plants you're considering as potentials in their landscape. There may literally be nothing more frustrating than a client telling you the following season after install that they don't like the color or the texture or whatever trait of a plant that you placed 120 times in their landscape. So, in an effort to thwart this client behavior, I make a simple Google spreadsheet for my clients called a plant palette. And it lists every plant that I'm considering using in their landscape design, and I ask them to review the list and review each plant on the list and make comments about each plant on the list. So here is what that looks like. All right, so here I am with a blank Google Sheet document. And the first thing I'll do is give it a title, and I'm going to call it Plant Palette for, and then I do the client name, so I'll say Smith. I'm going to change the sheet name to Potential Plants that later on I can duplicate and call Plant Schedule or whatever. So first thing I want to do is I want to give these headers, give headers in the columns and in the rows. So I like to use the genus, the species, the cultivar, and the common name. And then I like to have a column for my notes, Charlene notes, and then client comments or notes. And then, let's see, so starting about here, I'm going to list all of the types of plants separately. So I'm going to say trees, shrubs, perennials, vines, whoops. Let's see, ground covers, say, and then if you're doing bulbs, annuals, you would write those, type those in too. So you'll adjust the spacing between these as you need them. So I'll just give you an example. So let's see, trees, let's say Acer, Pseudo-Sibolianum, and no cultivar, but common name Korean maple. And let's see, I'm gonna do 3 here and just show you how I make sure that these are all in alphabetical order within their subset of tree, shrub, perennial, etc. So let's say Acer, we'll say a Malus species. I'm gonna do crabapple, and I guess I skipped. So let's say we'll call it Larix decidua. And I like like the pulley. So I like to make sure my genus names are all alphabetical. And to do that, so if I just type them in randomly, I'll need to sort them after the fact. So if I select all of that, all of the information in those columns and go to data and sort range. So sort range by column B, A to Z. That will sort, so my genus will be in alphabetical order, and it will bring along all of the species and any other data that I've plugged in that was also highlighted. All right, so now those are in alphabetical order. My notes, so I'm just going to say like small, hardier than Japanese maple. So, deciduous evergreen, conifer. And then the crabapple was the client pick. And I want to make sure to note that because I wouldn't choose the crabapple, but they did, so I'm going to consider it. So change the size of your columns as you need to and give them plenty of space to add their comments. And so you'll go through, all the plants that you're considering, type them under their category, and then you'll share this document with them. So they'll be able to come in and hopefully they'll write their comments based on what they think about each plant. And the way this is organized, it's pretty easy for them to, copy and paste that into a search engine, get photos, get information, and then they can give you comments. So I'm going to show you, let's see, I'm going to click on this. So this is what this looks like fully sussed out here. And this is an actual sheet that I did share with a client, and I wanted to show you that, so I made them a column that said client notes, and they didn't even use it, but instead they made me this little key at the bottom. Green is yes, like this, orange, this is okay in the right spot, and red, not that keen. So they gave me color-coded responses to their thoughts on the plants I chose for part of their plant palette. So then I came in, and anything that was red, I put a strike through, and I didn't totally delete it because I want that as history. I want to know, if later on, 5 steps down the line here, I'm like, wait, why don't I have any inkberry? And if I go back to this sheet, I'm like, oh, because they were not that keen on the inkberry, and I crossed it off. So anyway, this is the plant palette. It gets all of the plants organized so that you know what you're selecting from, your client knows what you're selecting from, and this is their chance to give you input on these plant options. So that's it. An easy peasy spreadsheet to get you on the same page with your clients regarding plants. It's easy to share. It's easy for you and your clients to edit in real time. That's why I love using Google Sheets for this. But also just being able to keep up with and stay organized for each design job with the thousands of plants options out there. If you have multiple clients and multiple jobs going at the same time, you know what I'm talking about. Staying on top of who likes what plants out of the palette of plants that will actually perform well given each property's unique growing conditions. And so when I share these lists with my clients, I get extremely valuable input and information about their plant preferences before I spend too much time either designing plants they aren't keen on, or worse, actually planting plants in their landscape that they totally dislike, but I didn't find out about until after thousands of dollars were spent. So anyway, I hope this was helpful and that you consider trying this out for a current or your next client. So thank you for watching Landscape Elevation and joining me. And remember, I love hearing from folks in the landscape design community. If you're a landscape designer and you have questions or a conversation to start, please share them in the comments or reach out to me directly from my website, landscapeelevation.com, where you can also find each of my free PDF guides, the example client questionnaire, the 5 steps to prepare for a successful landscape design, and the VWX Keyboard Shortcuts cheat sheet. All right, Thank you, take care, and I hope you have a really, really great week.